The impacts in the week since the Iran war began have trickled down to consumers, especially drivers. AAA reports the national average for a gas is $3.98 a gallon. That price is expected to reach $4 by this week. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Jason Allen, who's live for us just south of Dallas. Jason, you actually spoke to some farmers who've been impacted by these rising costs. What did they tell you?
Yeah, I did talk to farmers. We're also talking to drivers, people who are doing delivery driving, right? This is hitting at such a bad time of the year for them, right? This is when farmers are out and they are doing all their planting. They're doing all of their fertilizing. And it's a time when they have to make those decisions. Do we go ahead and we plant the field, or do we hold back because of what fuel is costing? And in Texas, which a lot of times is insulated, right, from maybe what the coast see with these rising prices, because of the proximity to those refineries on the coast, because of the lower gas taxes here, usually the prices are lower, and they are lower than that national average of $3.98. If we look on the sign behind us here at this gas station where we are south of Dallas, $3.49, and I think the state average is at about $3.61 today, down a cent. But this is still, and especially the price for diesel, where we're getting close to $5, that is an astronomical price to pay. So farmers have to make that decision. Do they move forward with this? Do they hold back and try to save some money, hoping that the price comes down? Here's what one of those farmers told me as he was out planting the last of his acres, just a little bit to the west of where we are.
Have you ever seen it like this?
No, not this bad, not this quick, not this extreme.
And at the end of the day, who pays for this?
I do. I can't pass this cost on. My son and I just have to eat this and hope for the best, hope for a big crop. You know, if the fuel prices, fertilizer prices stay high, all we can do is hope that the commodity prices go up. And again, that gets passed on to the consumer more than does anybody.
Yeah, and those commodity prices right now are not as high. In fact, about 35 to 40% lower than what they were the last time gas prices were this high, which was back in 2022. You heard him also talk about the speed that things have come up. That has made it very, very difficult to adjust, right? You can't just wait and hope that things are lower. So they're trying to price things sometimes day by day and determine, do we buy more fuel right now? Do we buy 7,500, 8,000 gallons of diesel fuel now? Or do we wait till tomorrow and hope that it drops 10 or 20 cents and we save money and that lasts us for a while? So very difficult time for farmers, especially when they still, at this point into the year in March, don't know what the rest of the spring and the rest of the summer is going to hold for them as they try to grow those crops that they're going to harvest in August and September and into the fall.
And farmers these days are stretched thin as it is, and this certainly doesn't help. And we heard the gentleman that you spoke to, he said, I'm going to have to eat some of these costs. It's just how it is.
It is, and it's tough for them. Now, at some point in the supply chain, right, because all of those crops have got to get taken to grain elevators, right? They've got to go to mills, they may go to a product and then to suppliers. At some point in that process, somebody is going to say, we can't just eat it anymore, right? And that's where they're going to say the margins are too tight. They've got to start going up, and that's when we see things that are passed on to us, the consumer, at the end of this. But it is starting with the farmers right now, who are going to have to lay out that extra money right now, and they really don't know if they're going to be able to make it back at the end of the season or not.
Jason Allen, thank you so much for that.